Today we are following the same theme we've done all month, see something, say something. So I am going to go to my share screen. I'll present it. All right. So see something, say something, recognizing potential danger. So this month right now we are this time of year on the 25th, the government, American government, really pushes this idea of see something, say something, to educate us on how to recognize the signs of potentially suspicious behavior. So the big focus for the first half is on terrorism-related suspicious activity. So we're going to go into what exactly that means. So what is terrorism? Terrorism is, by definition through the Oxford Dictionary, the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against citizens in the pursuit of political aims. So somebody has an idea or a belief that they are very, very passionate about. And in order to get people to either believe like them or to create fear, they might use violence or intimidation against other people. So the purpose of terrorism is to create a general climate of fear in a population. So to make people afraid in order for them to achieve their objectives. So it's usually political or like extreme religious beliefs that this is regarding. Now, even though much of this information might be directed towards terrorism, I also want everyone to think about it in the idea of the thought of stranger danger, right? So whether you're in a public setting like a mall or Walmart, Target, at the park, or you're at Desert Haven, if you see something suspicious, that doesn't necessarily mean it's terrorism, but somebody could be doing something suspicious that needs to be reported. So this isn't just about terrorism, this is reporting any suspicious behavior that we might see. So what to look for? So to be on the lookout for, right? Threats. So if you see somebody nearby, and recently a trainer reported something that she took as a threat, and she reported immediately. They went and hid in a closet at the site, the supply closet, and called it in. They called the cops. Because she heard a guy that was in the parking lot, and he was yelling and screaming, and he had what looked like a knife in his hand, and he was very upset. So, so even though there might not have been a threat, she heard somebody very upset and yelling and screaming. And so she reported. It turns out the guy's car was vandalized, so he was upset because somebody vandalized his vehicle. But you never want to take those things lightly. So she responded, and her crew responded very quickly and very appropriately, and they received a safety reward or safety award as a result. So threats could be, I hate this organization, or I really hate that person, or I hate their religious beliefs. I wish they would just disappear forever, or I could make that happen, or things like, I want to hurt that person, or I want to hurt that place. So if you hear things like that, you need to report that, because somebody might just be upset, but you never know. You want to make sure that it's reported so it can be looked into. Surveillance or probing. So let's say someone's watching outside of a facility, or watching a person. So let's say you're here at Desert Haven and you see somebody that's kind of walking around looking like they're looking for something, or you notice somebody's like watching a particular person all the time, or they're taking pictures or notes, or they're asking very unusual questions like, hey, is your facility, are the doors kept unlocked or are they locked? Does so-and-so, does this trainer, which sites do they work at? What time do they work at those sites? Those are things that they should not be asking, and you don't want to give them that information. So if you see somebody that's just sitting around watching and they don't seem like they have a reason for being there, or they're taking pictures, or they're asking questions, just point it out to somebody that you're with so it can be looked into. I know people around here are really good about doing that, you know, and sometimes it's because it's somebody that's doing maintenance on our facility, and sometimes it's somebody that doesn't need to be here. And then I pretty much all the time when they're not supposed to be here, it's because they're looking for a different organization that is either Valley Oasis, which is our neighbors, or they're looking for a facility that's one street over. So then I redirect them and tell them where to go. But you still want to report it just to be on the safe side. Attempting intrusion, so unauthorized people entering a restricted area or misrepresenting themselves. So they, you know, come into the building and you don't recognize them, and they're kind of stalking around and looking around, and you want to find out who they are. So you want to inform your staff person, your trainer, or if you're with your family, let your family know. So if you're at a mall or in a restaurant, it's kind of hard right now because a lot of places are locked down. But if somebody looks very suspicious and they're going in places you don't think they're supposed to be going into, just let somebody know. And vandalism, damaging or destroying part of facility or infrastructure. So if you see somebody that's spray painting a wall, or they're throwing a brick, or they look like they might, you want to report that immediately, so the sheriff's department can handle that as quickly as possible. So we're going to go to the next slide. So this is kind of the fun part. So it says, let's take the challenge. So we're going to watch a video. I'm going to get out of here, and it says, how many riders are in green on the jump? So I'm going to open this video up, and we're going to open this. So I'm going to play this video. First, I'm going to stop screen. Watch along. I'll turn it up.
Here's your challenge. How many riders in green jump the ramps?
So look for the riders in green.
Five riders in green jumped the ramps. But did you notice the unicyclist? How about the hidden message? Did you see that?
The speed alert.
Did you notice the man dropping the suspicious backpack? Your next challenge, be aware of your surroundings. If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
That was cool.
That was cool. So I'm going to stop screen share. Go up here. Present. So the first one is, how many riders in green jumped the ramps? Did you notice the man dropping the backpack? So when I first watched it, I did not. So that's awesome for those of you that noticed. So the next one is how many people in orange shirts get subs? So there's like a Subway sandwich thing going on. We're going to go over here, take the challenge. So the next one, we'll see how observant you guys are, because this one has a couple tricky things.
Here's your challenge. How many people in orange shirts get subs? Go.
So there's one. Subs.
7 people in orange shirts got subs. But what else did you see? Did you notice the ice cream truck change to a pizza truck? Did you notice the glasses?
He wasn't wearing glasses.
What about the
before.
man leaving the suspicious package next to the truck? Your next challenge, be aware of your surroundings. If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
So is anybody else mind blown right now? Because when I saw that, I was like, there's no way the pizza truck like changed. I even missed it this time. Like I missed the change. I saw an ice cream truck and then I know. So Manny, your hand's raised. So did you see the pizza truck change? You did? April? Who else saw the pizza truck change? Matthew did? You guys are very observant.
Me.
Nathaniel did? Did you notice, Nancy, the pizza truck?
No, I noticed the backpack this time.
That's just wild,
But,
right?
but I got the count wrong. I only counted 6 orange shirts getting sandwiches, but I
Yeah.
noticed the backpack this time.
So Terrell, he noticed, his hands raised. Now, everyone put their hand down. And let's see, how many of you noticed the backpack was lowered? Nancy, she noticed the bag. Sasha
I was
did.
watching for it this time.
Matthew, April did. That's really good. Maria, she did. Pharrell did. Matthew did. Awesome. So you guys did so much better than I did the first time because I didn't notice either one of those things. So we're going to do one more video and we're going to see how observant you guys are on this next one. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint one more time. So we got green riders, or riders in green jump the ramps. We have how many people in orange shirts get subs? Did you notice the ice cream truck paint on the pizza truck? The glasses, oh yeah, anybody notice the glasses? I didn't. And the suspicious man leaving the bag. So now we're in a hallway at what looks like a school, and you're gonna see how many times they pass around the yellow backpack. So we're gonna go over here to our third video. He doesn't have glasses on this one.
Here's your challenge. How many times is the yellow
We got
backpack
this
passed?
yellow backpack right here.
Go.
5, 6. Oh, look, you did a tricky one there. Like pooped up.
So the yellow backpack was passed 17 times. But how?
Okay, so before we go on this one, I am curious what you guys noticed. So rather than him giving us the answers, I'm going to see who noticed. So Amani, did you notice them? Your hand's up. So I'm going to unmute you. Can you unmute yourself? Oh, yes. So
Yes,
what did you notice?
I noticed that somebody passed a yellow backpack and another person looked suspicious by looking on the phone.
Was looking on the phone? Okay. Let's see who else. Who else can raise their hand and tell me what you observed? Matthew, go ahead and unmute yourself.
I observed them passing the yellow backpack for 17 times and then saw a person on her phone as well.
Okay, you saw a person on her phone. All right, April, go ahead and unpause yourself or unmute yourself.
And also, I noticed that the guy that was passing the bag, but I also noticed that the fringe looked in his face. He was doing something really sneaky.
He looked sneaky.
And yeah, not only being sneaky, that he also was like passing the bag around. I guess he didn't want nobody to know what's in the bag.
Oh, nobody knows what's in the bag. That's right. I'm gonna go ahead and mute you. All right, who else? Did anybody notice anything other? Nathaniel, go ahead and unmute yourself. What did you notice?
I seen a whole lot passing around yellow backpacks, and it's a whole lot of kids passing around that.
That's right.
Backpack.
That's right. Went back and forth, huh?
Yep.
Nancy, did you notice anything suspicious?
No, and I tried, but I also didn't get the count right of how many times they passed the backpack. I was only like on 13 or 14 because they were passing it really fast. And
Yeah.
so it was hard to see anything else that changed or was different.
And they did tricky. They got
Yeah.
tricky. Sometimes it looked like they were gonna pass it and they didn't.
they
So your
didn't.
guys' minds are gonna be blown right now,
Yeah.
especially yours, Nancy. You're gonna be like, what? Because I didn't notice anything else. Because this was my third video when I first watched it too, and I was like, what?
So I'm
How
like
aware were
trying
you?
to watch for something suspicious, but
Did you notice that our scene moved outside?
yes.
What about the student who put on a hat and switched books?
Eh,
Or the woman dropping the suspicious package? Sometimes it's easy to miss the obvious. Your next challenge? Be aware of your surroundings. If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
all right.
I did
So I
notice
thought that,
that they moved outside, but I just thought that was part of the plan.
yeah, that
That's
was just part of the, yeah. I didn't notice that though, to be honest. I was like, I knew they were outside, but I didn't really think about it, like that it was odd.
I didn't see
So,
Randy leave the box though, and I was looking
yeah.
for stuff like that.
So the student who put the hat on changed books, I didn't notice that at
Not
all.
suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the woman dropping the suspicious package, totally didn't notice
Yeah,
that.
I did not see that.
So, so why say something? Okay, because why do people not say something if they see something? So we're gonna go through that. So sometimes people don't say anything because they're afraid of getting embarrassed or being wrong. Like, oh, if I ask why this guy is walking around and other people have seen him but they haven't said anything, maybe it's not a big deal, right? But just like in the videos, somebody could be walking around that doesn't belong there, and other people are so focused on other things that they don't even notice that somebody is there that shouldn't be there. So sometimes we don't say something because we're worried we're going to be wrong, or we might think we're overreacting, right? So you might think, oh, so this lady dropped a box on a chair and she left it there, but she was dressed really nice. Like, she doesn't look suspicious. She looks like a normal businesswoman. So if I report it, people might just think I'm overreacting. But in that case, we don't know. If I'm somebody that wants to hurt an organization or a person, I'm going to do what I can so people don't suspect me of doing something wrong. So that might mean I dress up nice, wear high heels, look businesslike, right, Nancy?
No
And
one
then,
would know.
I'm sorry?
No one would ever know.
No. Or they're being scared of being judged, like people saying, oh, you're tattletale, like it's not your business. So why are you even saying anything? So a lot of times people might not say anything because, and this isn't just for like a terrorist threat. Okay, so I want you guys to think about this in regards to all sorts of things that need to be reported, which we're going to go over here in a little bit. So why we should say something. So our family, friends, and coworkers, right? We need to be on the lookout of harmful, suspicious activity that could harm our family, friends, and coworkers. So if you're thinking, I don't want to say anything because what if I'm wrong and I look stupid? But what if you're right? And there is somebody that's trying to hurt your home or your family or friends or your organization. That fear of being wrong is far outweighed by something that could terribly happen to your friends, family, and coworkers if you're right. So another reason we should say something is to keep others safe. So even if your friends, family, and coworkers aren't around, you're just at Target, and you see somebody that's being really weird and off, you're thinking, well, it's not my business. Maybe people are thinking I'm overreacting. Why should I say something? Well, what if they are there to do something really bad, and now other people are injured as a result? We want to keep other people safe as well. And because it's the right thing to do. So even though sometimes we might feel weird pointing stuff out that looks suspicious, it's better to point it out and say, hey, I just want to be sure than to not point it out and somebody get hurt. So just like that staff person that went to our site, he saw a guy outside of a car, really upset. You know, he had what looked like a knife. He looked very angry. He was cussing, he was swearing. She could have just said, oh, well, there's no big deal about that. I don't want to overreact. You know, maybe he's just upset over something. No, she didn't think about any of that. All she thought is, you know what? I want to keep my coworker safe. Let's go and hide, call the cops, and let them figure it out. And that is the right thing to do. Are there other areas, see something, say something can apply to? So I'm going to share another video here. And I'm giving all the answers away as I do that. Let's go back here. And so this video, again, this is in regards to like threats, but think of it and think of other areas of
Why? Why take a chance? Why risk a mistake? Why say something? We all have reasons why we choose to ignore the things that give us pause, that seem out of place, that don't feel right. The word why can either paralyze us or empower us to stand up and protect what we love. So if you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my family.
I see safe for my friends.
I see say so that they are safe.
We see say for each other.
I see say because all of this matters.
We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies this community we're all a part of. So protect your everyday. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
All right, so now I'm going to stop share, and before we continue on, does anybody know of something else besides terrorism or suspicious things that if you see it, you should report it? So we've talked about a few things already this month. So you can repeat that, or if you think of something new, go ahead and raise your hand and I'll give you a chance to talk. So can you think of anything that you should report if you see it? April, go ahead and unmute yourself. Yes, that was excellent, April. So if you guys didn't hear, April says if you see like a mysterious man or suspicious man, you should report it. And kids are abducted every day. You know, children, teenagers go missing all the time. So that's why it's really important, because that happens in our country. You know, it's not something that just happens in other countries. And so we definitely want to say something that can save a person's life. All right, Matthew, go ahead and unmute yourself. So Matthew just said, if you see somebody getting bullied, you need to report it. And that is very true, because if you don't, other people might not, and that person could get hurt. And I don't know if anybody's been bullied, but it is awful. It's an awful thing to go through, and it can last throughout your life. So you need to fight for those people that need help. So I'm going to go to, this is something I know a lot of young people can experience, you know, in high school and outside of high school, is people can be mean, you know, and they can make really mean remarks, and they can follow somebody, and it's called trolling, you know, and write really horrible, terrible things. And if you see that, you definitely want to report it. You can actually report it. So if it's happening on Facebook, you can report it to Facebook. You can report it if you know that person's family, let them know so they can take control of it. And there are lines you can call, and I'll post them on Facebook to report that kind of activity. So that's a very good remark. Okay, so thank you, Rosemary. So if you didn't hear Rosemary, she said if you see crime or abuse, you know, so maybe you're at the store and you see somebody's like beating the heck out of their kid, you know, or their partner, you know, they're slapping them around, they're yelling and screaming at them. Go over and find the security guard so they can jump in and intervene, because that's important, you know, because if that person's being abused out in public where other people see, imagine what's happening to them when they go home. Thank you, Charisse. Charisse wrote, love your Facebook EPT topics. Please continue to post them. We will. I think, who was it? Josh? I saw somebody with their hand up. Where did we go? Somebody else had their hand up. Did you see who it was, Nancy?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Oh, there we go. His hand's up right now. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
There you go.
So we're going to go back to the slide. You guys gave me really, really great responses. So we're going to see what some of the items were that were listed on our presentation and see how many of them we got right. So let's go to share. We're going to go to the next one. Okay. So it says we're going to present. Oh, I showed the beans again. All right. So are there other see something, say something that other areas this can apply to? Domestic abuse. So somebody brought up domestic abuse. Child abuse, if somebody's abusing their child. So if you see a person you know that has bruises or scratches, and they don't really want to say what happened, or they seem a little weird when you ask them, they might be a victim of abuse. So abduction. So somebody did bring abduction up, getting somebody being kidnapped. Bullying. So there was bullying was also brought up. Cyberbullying was another one that was brought up. Health issues. So if you notice somebody is like losing a lot of weight, they don't really why. One of our staff people are really good about reporting this. If somebody is looking sick or looking like they're having problems, reporting it. Safety. So we did that topic a couple weeks ago. If you see a safety issue, you know, there's something that somebody can trip on, or there is like an electrical outlet that's broken, make sure you say something. Drug abuse. So let's say you see somebody that's drinking excessively all the time. You know that they're drinking when they go to work, or they're smoking marijuana before they go to work, or they don't look well and you suspect that they are abusing drugs. Make sure you report that. So neglect. Neglect is, you know, you see the kid across the street, he's 6 years old and he has one mom, and that's they only, it's just the two of them that live together, and you see the mom leave for work every day, and you know that 6-year-old's left alone every day of the week. He's too young to be left alone all the time by himself in that house. So that's a form of neglect. So that person might not be trying to abuse them in any way. They might be doing the best they can. They just can't afford childcare. But we need to report it so we make sure that something bad doesn't happen to that child when he's left at home. That can be the case for your friends. You know, if you see one of your friends is losing a lot of weight and they tell you, well, I haven't been really getting fed, you know, or they're just feeding me once a day. They're caretakers. That's a form of neglect. You know, they're not being taken care of. So you need to report those situations. Gang-related activities. So if you see that, you know, people that you know, they're flashing signs that look like they're gang-related, or they're wearing certain colors that you know to be gang-related, or they're just acting like different, and you suspect they might be in a gang, you're going to want to report that activity as well. Vandalism. So if you see vandalism happening, we've seen that a lot on the news. People are driving by and throwing rocks into storefronts, or they're spray painting walls. You're going to want to make sure you get a description of that person and report it. So then this one's left blank, because there's a lot of things besides just this. Again, when they were talking in the video, they said, if you feel like something's off in your gut, then report it, you know, say something. So what do you say about that, Nancy? What can you elaborate? If you feel something in your gut, what does that feel like?
Right, it's suspicion, and sometimes it is hard because we're afraid to say anything in case we're wrong, but it's better to be wrong than leave someone in an unsafe situation. I have a situation for you. I came home from somewhere a couple weeks ago, and one of my neighbors came over to my house and told me that the little old lady that lives across the street was sitting in a chair outside her house naked. Right? I know. We're like, what? And she doesn't have any family around. And so we went and talked to her, and we got in touch with her family. And she's had some visitors lately and stuff. So hopefully I took over some food and things. But yeah, that was definitely a big red flag. Like, something's wrong and I need to say something to someone, because people don't do that normally. right? It's just
No.
feeling in your gut, and don't be afraid to say something. Don't feel like you're being a snitch to your friends, because you care about your friends' safety and you want them to be healthy and well, not abused, not doing drugs, not getting killed. You want to say something for
Absolutely.
everyone's
Absolutely.
safety.
Yeah. That's a very, very good point, you guys. So that was the end of my presentation. So now we have a few minutes, and I'm going to open it up to any questions you guys might
For
have.
coming, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming. And if you guys have any questions or comments, you can go ahead and do that now. You can go ahead and raise your hand. I see April's hand raised, so I'm going to ask you to unmute, April. You can unmute yourself.
Okay.
There you go.
Yes, I have a comment. Like, I don't know if anyone can this either. Like, someone can have like maybe like an eating disorder. Like, you know how sometimes you be pressured, you be like stressed, and you see somebody like overweight and they're eating too much. You see that they clogging their arteries with wrong eating foods. It don't have to be like healthy foods. It could be any kind of food to eat. Like you see that, you know, it's afforded.
Yeah. So
yeah, if someone's throwing up a lot, that could be a sign of an eating disorder.
yeah, or if they're eating excessively and they're eating the wrong kind of foods,
or not eating enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Matthew, go ahead and unmute yourself.
I have a question.
Okay.
If people are throwing rocks at your car window, is that a form of vandalism?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. So if they're throwing rocks at your car, you're going to want to call the, sheriff's department. I wouldn't even get in their way because you don't know if they're going to throw rocks at you. So I would let, if you're near, somebody like a staff person or your parent or caretaker, go get them and have them call the sheriff's department right away. Yeah, you don't want that. Thank you, Matthew. Rosemary, I'm going to unmute you next. So go ahead and unmute yourself.
I was considered in foster care for students, and I was living in Washington in that area, and I was scared that I didn't know what was going on back then.
Yeah, so you were living in a bad area when you were younger and you were scared?
Yeah.
So if you're in an area like that, it's in any area, we really want to keep our eyes peeled no matter what, because you don't necessarily have to be in quote unquote a good area for crime to happen or abuse to happen. So sometimes people, they think, oh, well, abuse would never happen in my neighborhood because I live with, really great people. That's not necessarily true. You don't know. So don't just assume something's not happening. If there's signs of abuse, you want to report it. Okay, Josh, you go ahead and unmute yourself, sir. Didn't happen. Let's try it again. You're still muted. Try it one more time. There we go. Did it work? Oh, no, you're still muted, sir. I don't know really why, what's going on. If you can figure it out, I'm going to go ahead and.
I tried a few.
You did? Maybe we're both doing it. So how about you try?
I did it before.
Oh, you did?
No, maybe he's pushing the wrong button, like yes or no.
Okay. I'm going to go to a Manny next.
I don't know what it looks like when the button.
I don't. It's different. Okay, Manny, what did you have to add?
I have two things. Like one, I have a neighbor across the street. So in my house, somebody parked in their side of my house, and we don't
Mhm.
know who it was, and it'd been there for a couple of days. And my neighbor across the street asked us, "Do we know somebody?" And and wondering what happened. So I was like, they look suspicious. I was we were a little worried because I was like, why people park in the car for a few days and never expected someone.
Mhm.
And my mom said if that happens, that she can report it to the sheriff, if
Yeah.
And that's first one. Second, I have an old neighbor. He moved to different state. He has Alzheimer's. He Somebody barged in my door. I was at home at the time, and I called my mom and I told her I said, somebody banging our door. Do you expected someone? Because I wasn't supposed to open the door to anybody,
Yeah.
stranger. So and she said, I'm on my, and she told me that, she said, no. I said, why is somebody banging my door? And she said, don't worry, I'm on my way. I will take care of it. So, and I was scared because, I'm not supposed to open the door to anybody.
Yeah. No,
Just
that's scary. So, but you didn't open the door, right?
no, I let
That's good.
my mom took care of it, and his wife said, I apologize. She says she has apologized for her husband's behavior. He has Alzheimer's, like I said, and
He could have been at the wrong house.
Mhm.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's scary.
he thought that it was his home, but he went to my house by accident. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so
You did the right thing by not answering.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to wrap this up and I'll let you guys talk for a little bit because I keep having people blow up my phone. So I think it's important that I take the phone call. So just remember, if you see anything suspicious, anything that just, you're like, oh, that doesn't seem right, just report it to somebody, because you never know. You could save somebody's life by doing that. You could save your family's life by doing that. So if anything ever looks off or wrong, make sure you report it. Okay, do you have anything to add, Nancy, before I unmute everybody?
Excellent subject. Thank you, Vicki.
You're welcome. And I'm going to post more stuff on Facebook.